The moment Isabel Vance walked into the Ethelgard Grand, the lobby, a grand theater of wealth and power, seemed to hold its breath. Her presence was a quiet disruption to the polished marble floors and glittering chandeliers. Dressed in a sharp navy suit, she moved with an unassailable calm, her heels clicking with a steady, rhythmic purpose. But it was the solid black card she placed on the check-in counter that ignited the conflict. Before we continue, tell us where in the world you're watching from. Drop it in the comments below. And if you enjoy this story, don't forget to like the video and subscribe for more powerful content like this. The receptionist, a young man named Leo with a practiced hollow smile, barely glanced at it before a smirk touched his lips. He leaned forward, speaking just loudly enough for the nearby guests to hear. "These are usually maxed out." The insult, casual and dripping with condescension, hung in the air. Isabel didn't react. Her expression was unreadable, but her eyes, cold and sharp, held his gaze for a moment too long. Leo didn't know he was looking at the CEO of Apex Global Equity, the firm that was about to finalize a $2.8 billion expansion deal with Ethelgard's parent company. He didn't know she was there to perform the final in-person assessment after her team had flagged dozens of internal complaints about racial bias. He saw a black woman he felt entitled to judge, not the architect of his company's future. And the disrespect he so casually dispensed would cost them everything. Before the day was over, the Ethelgard Grand's reputation for luxury would be shattered, replaced by a legacy of arrogance and collapse. What happens when a quiet display of prejudice meets the silent force of immense power? The game had already been decided, but only one of them knew it. The game was over before Leo even knew it had begun. After his sneering comment, he feigned a problem with the booking. "I'm sorry," he said, his tone suggesting she was the inconvenience. "The presidential suite you booked isn't available." There seems to be an issue with the system. Isabel knew there was no system issue. This was part of the test, another data point in a growing file of evidence. She accepted the key to a downgraded room on a lower floor without a word of protest. Her composure wasn't weakness, it was strategy. As she walked toward the elevators, the sound of her heels echoing her resolute departure, Leo felt a brief, unsettling twinge of doubt. But his arrogance quickly smothered it. In her room, Isabel didn't unpack. She opened her laptop and began to type. Every detail was recorded with chilling precision. The receptionist's name, the exact wording of his insult, the time of the incident, and the baseless room downgrade. This was not a complaint. It was an indictment. The next morning, she continued her audit. Dressed more casually, she attempted to enter the executive lounge she was entitled to. A staff member stopped her, citing that her room key didn't grant access, her dismissive tone mirroring Leo's. Later, at the concierge desk, she overheard two employees whispering about another diversity hire getting a corporate rate. Each slight was a nail in the hotel's coffin, documented and time-stamped. The final act began when she returned to the front desk. Leo was there. She approached the counter, and he greeted her with the same plastic smile. "Good morning, ma'am. How can I help you?" Isabel's voice was low, steady, and cut through the lobby's quiet hum. "I'd like to understand why, from the moment I arrived, I've been treated with suspicion and disrespect." Leo's smile vanished. "I'm not sure what you mean." "Oh, I think you do," she replied, her calm unwavering. "The comment about my card, the room downgrade, the denial of lounge access, the whispers from your staff." As his face paled, she slowly slid a business card across the marble counter. It made no sound, but its impact was deafening. He read the words, "Isabel Vance, CEO, Apex Global Equity." The blood drained from his face as the magnitude of his error crashed down on him. "I came here to sign a deal that would have secured your company's global expansion," she said, her voice still a quiet force. "But you chose to judge the color of my skin instead of reading my name. My report has been sent. The deal is canceled." She turned and walked away, leaving the business card, her final statement, on the counter. She didn't need to see the fallout. She knew it would be swift and absolute. The video a guest had been recording went viral within the hour. The story of the quiet takedown spreading like fire. The $2.8 billion deal evaporated, and Ethelgard's stock plummeted. Leo was fired, a footnote in the collapse he had single-handedly initiated. The empire didn't crumble because of a shout, but because of a whisper of truth spoken by a woman they were too blind to see.